Alright, guys, so I did do a story on the beef that's going on where France absolutely went off on Australia and the UK over and the US. They actually don't really seem to be going off on the UK at all for some reason. It's kind of bizarre. But maybe it's because they expect the others to be of a higher standard and closer to them. But France went off on Australia and the US. They didn't really seem to go after the UK. Basically, it was a submarine deal that they had in place. Australia had a deal with France where they were going to get like $66 billion worth of submarines, like diesel traditional submarines. I think it was like 12 submarines or something. But then what they ended up doing is they ended up reneging, deciding not to buy the submarines, and instead did a deal with the United States where they got nuclear powered submarines. So that pissed France off. They were really pissed that the US would do that. They're like, what the fuck? I thought we were buddies. So this has caused a really, really big rift between European and US powers. And so it seems like powers are really fighting to gain influence over the Indo-Pacific region and really trying to fight China is what it appears to be. So all these countries are attempting to gain more influence in China. But there appears to be a surprising Biden-EU split. There appears to be a split going on between Joe Biden and the European Union. That's what appears to be going on. So it says EU leaders accuse Biden of disloyalty to allies. Charles Michel says Trump was clear about disliking Europe. Ursula von der Leyen says business as usual can't continue. The EU's top leaders on Monday bluntly accused U.S. President Joe Biden of disloyalty to the transatlantic alliance and demanded he explain why he misled France and other European partners in forging a new strategic tie-up with the UK and Australia and the Indo-Pacific. The extraordinary rebuke of the new American president, whose election was celebrated across Europe as an opportunity to rejuvenate ties after the 4 years of belligerence and combativeness of Donald J. Trump, raised the prospect of a grave and prolonged breach among Western powers. With the new Joe Biden administration, America is back, European Council President Charles Michel told reporters in New York as world leaders convened for the high-level debate of the UN General Assembly. What does it mean America is back? Is America back in America or somewhere else? We don't know. So basically, the leaders of the EU are coming out against the US. This one says, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen voiced her own dismay during an interview with CNN in which she called the treatment of France, quote, unacceptable, and demanded Biden provide an explanation. So pretty much what's going on is the European Union is defending France. They're coming out and they are defending France against the US, Australia, and the UK. But it more specifically seems to be targeted at the United States. This seems to be the main target of the EU. And so it is surprising. You would expect that with Joe Biden being there, there would be a more, a merger, a stronger alliance between the European Union and the United States. But that does not appear to be the case. There actually seems to be a split. And this is pretty fascinating. Obviously, there was a split between the U.S. and France during the run-up to the Iraq War. France was completely right about the Iraq War. They were against the war. Also, Denmark has actually sided against the EU. They've sided with Joe Biden. So I guess they're a really close ally to the United States. This is Denmark, one of Washington's closest allies in Europe, disagrees with French and EU criticism of the United States over a submarine deal with Australia, Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen said Wednesday. Frederiksen defended U.S. President Joe Biden as very loyal to Europe, even though the United States and Australia stripped European Union member France of a submarine contract. So I think this is just being done because of the close alliance. Australia did give some signs that they were going to renege on the deal. But, I don't know. I would imagine that China has to be... I would imagine China's pretty happy about this. I mean, you've got fighting going on between pretty much what is, your main opponent, which is, I guess, essentially all of the European countries, pretty much. Although I think Australia's economy is like almost entirely tethered to China. But, that region is really, really important for geopolitics right now, so everybody is scrambling to get power in the Indo-Pacific region, to challenge China, and to influence China. So it's really, really surprising. I did not expect this, but now you have the EU versus, the United States, and then there are other countries playing their roles and picking sides. So you now have like essentially a battle going on between the EU, the US, and some other European powers. So who knows how this is going to end.